Hello, you wonderful people. So today I'm going to talk about what is hands down my favorite video game series ever. Final Fantasy. Like always, this isn't a review, this is just me just generally talking about something that I really enjoy, and I recommend you check it out. If you have never experienced Final Fantasy, you do need to check it out. It is just that fucking awesome. Without a doubt, Final Fantasy is the most well-known JRPG in existence. If you can't tell, I am a huge Final Fantasy fanboy. Final Fantasy is one of the reasons why I love all things Square Enix. There are a long list of Final Fantasy games. I haven't played them all. I've only played a few of them. The ones I have played are Final Fantasy 4, Tactics, 7, Dirge of Cerberus, 8 through 10-2, 12, 13, and 13-2. My all-time favorite being 10. You know, aside from it just being an awesome game, it also has my favorite, Final Fantasy character in it, Tidus. At its base core, each Final Fantasy is about a group of people being thrown into a certain situation because of circumstance and having to band together for whatever reason. Whether it's to fight some kind of greater evil or whatever. But truthfully, I'd rather you not see Final Fantasy as just that, because to me, Final Fantasy games are much more than just that, you know? Each game takes you on a fantasy, magic / monster filled adventure with characters you can't help but fall in love with and get attached to. The Final Fantasy games themselves are never directly connected. You know, they always have different characters and take place in kind of their own unique worlds. Aside from the sequel series 10-2, 12-2, and 13-2, obviously. The ones I do know that take place in the same worlds is Final Fantasy Tactics and 12 series. They both take place in a world known as Evil Ace. But other than that, I don't think there's any others that, connect like those two do. Though the series doesn't have connections, they have more cameos, kind of winks and nudges towards past Final Fantasies. For instance, you meet this duo named Biggs and Wedge in Final Fantasy VII, and they kind of make an appearance in Final Fantasy VIII. Another constant being the Chocobo. This gigantic yellow bird has made appearances from time to time, serving as a means of getting around quickly while avoiding fights. Some Final Fantasies kind of have them all over the place, but there are others that kind of have them only in one general area that you can use them. I only know of Final Fantasy Tactics and 13-2 that allow you to also use Chocobo in a more battle sense, as well as having them come in different colors like black, red, purple, yada yada. Another constant cameo in the series is the name Sid. I don't know why, but literally there is at least one Sid in every Final Fantasy game. At least of the ones I played, there's always been at least one Sid. Another can be the Mogul. The earliest Final Fantasy I remember them from is 9. They probably had an earlier appearance. I just don't remember them as vividly. I definitely remember them vividly in 9 because, they kind of had their own part to play in 9. Not just, also being your save point, but also being having their own kind of side story quest aspect. I feel like Final Fantasy is no stranger to being, iconic. Having Final Fantasy VII's Sephiroth labeled as probably one of the greatest video game villains ever on multiple occasions. Cloud's Buster Sword, I'm pretty sure is considered an iconic weapon, as well as the Gunblade, which first appeared, in Final Fantasy VIII with Squall and Cypher, but later reappears with Lightning in Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2. If I could, I'd throw in the Brotherhood Sword as well, not just because it's Tidus' sword, but it's also because I love the design of the sword. It's awesome. It also has that kind of tragic, backstory to it as well, that's connected to Waka. But then again, there's kind of a tragic backstory to Cloud's Buster Sword in a way too. So my question to you is, what is your favorite Final Fantasy character, game? I don't know. Tell me what you love about Final Fantasy in the comments down below. I do want to apologize for going on and on, just talking about Final Fantasy. I just really love it. I don't know, maybe I'll do future videos where I just talk about the individual Final Fantasies themselves that I've played. I don't know. We'll see. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. But until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.
Nice job, loser.